with allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you for all coming tonight. This is very, very nice and a very special reason for everyone to be here. Our reason for being here was covered very well by our newspaper, and Mary Jane, where I saw her a minute ago. She's hiding somewhere. There she is. Okay. I'm going to read part of it, part of what she put in the paper. First of all, the cute phrase. You've heard the phrase, "Not all heroes wear capes." Well, sometimes they're just young adults having a relaxing evening. About 8 p.m. on Memorial Day, Patrick Flynn and John Flynn of Highland Falls, Alex McLeod and Kanae Tesoro from Fort Montgomery, and Jessica Tracy of Lincoln Park, New Jersey, were playing wiffle ball at Brooks's Park. They heard some yelling going on. Then they just thought it was kids, but then some kid ran to them and said, "People are out in a boat and their boat's going down." So they took off, and they were like 125 yards out in the water, and we could see they were in distress. Into the water they went. It turns out it was a lucky day for the one adult and 7 children who were aboard a small fishing boat. Both of the Flynn brothers and Tracy, who are currently certified lifeguards. McLeod has previously been certified, and Tesoro, while not a lifeguard, was willing to do whatever help that could have been done in a very bad situation. We got them. We did a quick got to them. We did a quick assessment and to make sure nobody was underwater. The boat wouldn't have stayed up very much longer. It had partially tipped, and the brothers said it was taking on water. We figured we'd be better off bringing the boat in, swimming the boat in, rather than trying to get the victims one by one, so they did it. They brought them about 20 yards from shore, and then more people helped out, helped getting them in and what have you. We had town police officers there by this time, which I think one of the kids called 911 and notified them. The police officer was Jared Witt, Joe Mazzaris, and Brian Newberry. Then the Fort Montgomery Fire Department arrived, and the town of Highlands Ambulance Corps also arrived. So within minutes of seeing the almost disastrous accident, everything was taken care of, and it was initiated by 5 of our young adults. I would like to ask Patrick and John Flynn just to come up here, please. And Alex and Kanae. Am I saying that right? Kanae. Okay. Your backs to me and face your audience here. And Jessica Tracy.
Good looking bunch.
There are a few different people who want to recognize you officially. This is from the town of Highland. It's signed by our entire board and myself. In recognition and gratitude for your courage and heroic behavior in assisting those who were involved in a boating accident on Brooks's Park Lake. Your bravery in a moment of crisis was an inspiration to all and has earned you the deepest gratitude and respect of the community. Congratulations. we have some other people that would like to also congratulate you. Sally?
Hello, everybody. In recognition of outstanding service and dedication to the community, the Town of Highlands Chamber of Commerce is proud to honor you as a local hero for your exceptional courage and life-saving efforts on May 26, 2025 at Brooks Park Lake, our local family. Your dedication to the betterment of the community sets an inspiring example for others to follow. We are proud to call you one of our own and look forward to seeing your incredible impact you will continue to have. We are so very proud of each and every one of you. And we know you guys are going to go far in life because you just see you see others before you see yourselves. Congratulations.
Our county legislator is here to say a few words and let you know what's up and coming.
So, good evening. In honor of your selfless act, Orange County would like to honor you at our legislative session on July 1st, where you'll all be presented with Distinguished Service Awards and proclamations from Orange County at 3:30 at the County Government Center. So we would like to honor you there and thank you for your selfless act, your community service, and your bravery.
Say something to them and a little bit about our life-saving courses.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know, I put you right on the spot.
Yes, you gotta bring the prompt, yes.
I have nothing prepared, but I will say, I'm always the first to advocate for the youth in our community. They're our brightest stars. They shine the most, and situations like this show why. We offered the lifeguarding course 2 years ago. We've done it every year, but you guys took it 2 years ago. And it's kind of just shows that what they learned stuck with them, and when the time came, they handled business. So I can't thank you guys enough, and thank you. The people you guys saved that day are probably thankful to me, so thank you. Our lifeguarding course this year is June 19, 20, 21, 22. Prepare to be there all day. We're offering waterfront certification, so you can work on beaches and lakes, and also regular pool certification. So anyone looking to take those courses, reach out and get you signed up.
Awesome.
We also have the mayor here and two of his board members. Jim, do you have anything to say?
Sure. Thank you from the bottom of my heart as mayor, and I know the supervisor feels the same. It's wonderful to see young people in action. Thank God you were all down there playing wiffle ball. Could you imagine if you decided to go somewhere else? The tragedy that may have occurred. So on behalf of myself, I know my board, and the community at large, God bless you and thank you so much.
I'm going to ask you to turn around and face my board and see what they have to say. Thank you.
Do I have to go first?
Yeah, but just a little bit.
Believe it or not, back in the day, I was a WSI certified lifeguard instructor. I worked at the Bear Mountain Swimming Pool, and to my knowledge, we never had a drowning down there, but I was involved in a few saves, so I know what's involved in it. Thank you very much. Brooks's Lake is murky, and it's tough to see people, so I know what you went through to get out to those people. Thank you.
Yeah, let me say that, my reference point for these types of acts are those 30 years of military service. There's young people like yourselves that do heroic things. But what stands out to me here is that coming out of the military, coming back home, what I see is those folks like yourself who've joined up to be police officers and EMTs and fire department folks, but you all are the epitome of what we call servant leaders. And so thank you so much for your selflessness. I'd go to war with you any day, so thank you.
Hi guys, I made a career in the news business reporting on moments like this, and I'm very proud to be here, to have met you all. I know down at the fire department the other day. I'm going to reiterate what Sally said. You put yourselves second. You put your emotions and your safety and thought for other people first. And she's right. All of you keep that mentality. You have a long way to go in life, and you're going to all succeed. Just thank you for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you all. I really don't have much to add except that it takes somebody special to run towards danger when something is presented to you. Because there's plenty of people who wouldn't. So thank you for doing that. And thanks for being a part of the community. And thanks for coming here tonight. We really appreciate it.
And I'd like to shake hands with heroes. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything, and thank you for everything you've done. You can both all go take your chairs. I'm going to call a 10-minute recess where people can mingle, shake hands, and after the recess, we're going to go our regular meeting, which I'm sure most of you are not here for.
No, I'm not. You're going to get papers. Give me the check.
I was buying, you weren't there when the price of the building on fire the other day. I
I'm getting chilled on this one. It's got the grapes in it, I can't.
All right, I'll call the meeting back to order, please.
Hey, singing bear.
Someone's got to talk Joe off the stairwell.
I was paying homage to Sly Stone. Still.
All right.
Him just like enough. Like scared the shit out of me. And then I was screaming.
Public comment, anybody have anything on my agenda they'd like to talk about? No? Our county legislator would like to make a couple announcements. Lori Tortel?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you, Joe. And God bless Sly. One, you already heard that the county is going to be honoring those 5 extraordinary young people at our county board meeting on July 1st. And the other is that, I'm sorry Sally had to leave, but with her hard work and effort, and combined with me and Bob, we were able to secure a grant from the county for $4,999 for your disaster shelter to get supplies for that, cots and so on and so forth. And Bob, you'll be getting the paperwork directly to you from the county, and we'll be able to proceed from there. And if you need any assistance with that, just let me know. So,
Thanks.
does anybody have anything for me?
Buddy? Thank you very much. Lori.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
Jim, you probably got something. You're not just here to see me.
I can wait till the end of the meeting, sir.
You can do it now.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Because I may have an executive session at the end of the
Okay.
meeting, so.
Jimmy has something I'm going to take a picture of like I do every year. Go ahead, Jim.
Greatly appreciated, Councilman. Good evening, Supervisor, council members. We have our annual Children's Fishing Derby. It's open to all children throughout the community, not just Highland Falls. All children are welcome. I mean, we even had a visitor one year from Singapore, which was pretty cool, because her mom was dressed just like her, and I think it was the first fish she ever caught. but that puts a smile on your face. So it's this Saturday, rain or shine. We got a lot of people that have stepped up to the plate already with additional donations. Like last year, we're going to have a breakfast sandwich available for the kids. No special orders. You know, what's on the plate, you eat. That's how I grew up. Then we'll have some bake cans, goodie bags, and buckets for the kids to go out, have a good time. And at the end of the day, we got some hot dogs, chips, soda, and then, of course, all the prizes that we're going to give away. So that's next Saturday at Royal Park. It starts at 8 o'clock for registration. Meet us at the pavilion, and I might even start it a little early before 9, so you want to get there early. Thank you so much, Mr. Supervisor.
Jimmy, if a child does not have fishing gear, they do not have a fishing pole, is there any accommodation? Do you have anything for?
I think I have.
Might be able to.
I think I have a couple extra that I always bring just in case.
Thank you.
So yes, we will have some of those available. And like I said, we have bait for the kids, hooks, sinkers, bobbers. They're just catching panfish. Actually, last year, Cape caught a eel, which is pretty interesting. And they're like, is that a fish? I was like, let's see, it lives in the water. Anyway, yeah, so yes, we will. And anything else that they need.
Great.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim.
Mayor, do you have anything? Ms. Allo?
Community connections have been a little slowed down in the past few months just because of weather and everything else. We've been working really significantly with Aaron Falk to build inclusive programming. We're starting July 17th, a family-orientated, family, individual, inclusive kickball club starting the 17th at Roe Park. We have more information on that. Buddy Bowling is starting again at the West Point Bowling Alley. Club Beyond at West Point has been really pinnacle in getting on board with volunteering with us to really keeping our parameters and everything together. So there's a lot of things coming on. We're also starting a couple of real crazy projects that I'm not even going to talk about, but it's going to get exciting. It's going to get exciting in the village. It's going to get exciting for the town, and it's all about volunteering and kids and inclusive community. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Anybody else, public comment? If not, we'll approve our minutes. I have the minutes of the May 12th meeting. I have a motion to approve.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. And I have the minutes of the May 22nd meeting, special meetings.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Communications. I received a letter from James O'Neill High School concerning their graduating class of 2025, inviting me on a Tuesday night at 7 p.m., which I unfortunately will not be able to go. Can my deputy go?
The 24th?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can do that.
you can do that. You gotta let him know you're coming.
I will.
Thank you.
Probably about 15 of them so far.
Okay, my financial reports here, I transferred $266,489 from the consolidated account into the paying account. Highland Falls for their water bill got $152,731. MVP Healthcare for health insurance, $49,285. RBT, that's our accountants, for software lease for their audit service for 2024, $20,095. Rockland County Solid Waste for haulage, $15,881. L&L Property Maintenance for cemetery maintenance service for May 2025, $5,400. Also, today, where the heck's that at? Today, I also transferred some money from the consolidated account to the paying account. Okay. Municipal workers' compensation, it was $31,128. Rockland County Solid Waste for haulage, $16,912. TAM Enterprises for service to the pump station and sewer plant in May, $15,855. Legal service from our attorney, $8,172. And the Office of the State Comptroller for court fines and fees for April, $6,977. Is there any question from the board? No. And Kelly, that all sounded right?
Yes.
Okay. Our board liaison reports. We'll start with ladies first.
Oh, thank you, sir. I don't have a whole lot. In business, the Consolidated Zoning Board of Appeals next meet on the 18th of June. I didn't have notes from their meeting last time, but I got the minutes. They're going to set a public hearing for two things. One is an addition to residence at 34 Rose Drive, and the other is the Mormon, I believe it's called the Steakhouse. I'm not sure that they refer to it as the Mormon church, but where Nicole's used to be, right? That they built up there to put a sign that's going to be, that you can actually see from the road. So those are two things that are going to be here at 7 o'clock on the 18th. Those are the two matters that'll be discussed. Councilman King will talk about his ongoing community coloring project, which has been at the library, so I was able to join with, and Alina was there, and it was such an enjoyable time because you're just sitting there. It's very low, low stress, just the coloring and the conversation that went on because we had a new member of the community, and you'll give the details on that. But it was a really nice time to be down there. We had lovely conversation, and it was a wonderful time. And I think at least two more times that are on the schedule, Ty, I believe. So he'll talk a little bit more about that. The only other thing, so I was able to give blood today there was a drive at West Havistraw. This time of year, there's a lot more automobile travel and there is a huge need for blood, and people are busier, so there are less people donating. So New York Blood Center, and I would assume Red Cross as well, have declared a blood emergency. So you have two opportunities coming up in the next 2 weeks or so to give blood. The first is, and I didn't write down the date, when's the American Red Cross one?
Wednesday.
Senior
Center.
Right, this Wednesday, at the Senior Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I went on the American Red Cross website. You can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, and they still have 8 appointments available from like 1:30 on every 15 minutes. And they say that you should have an appointment, but I would imagine that maybe if you walked in there that they probably would not turn you away from that. And then next is on the 22nd of June. So that's American Red Cross is this Wednesday at Senior Center. Blood Drive, the Highland Falls Fire Department is sponsoring one on Sunday, the 22nd of June, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Arla was here earlier, so she is in charge of that. And there is also, you can go online with either of them, but if you like to call, the New York Blood Center has an 800 number, 800-933-2566. They would be more than happy to see you there. And that's one of those things that you don't think about, but when you need it, that's what you need. So I would just encourage everybody to go do that, and it's not a big deal. Yes, Jen?
Did they ask you your blood type?
No, they test it first. So I know I've got cards with American Red Cross and New York Blood Center, and mine's right on there. It's O negative, right? So they tell you, and sometimes they will say, we would really love to see, O positive people, or, depending on whether you're given platelets or plasma or whole blood or double red, but they will. The first time that you go, they will type it, and then you get a card, and it tells you what your blood type, which is kind of nice for an emergency. You always have on there that if something should happen, they know what blood type I am right away. So, that's what I have, Chief.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Councilman DeWitt?
Good evening, everybody. That was, again, nice presentation today. It's really good to see that in our community. It was a nice crowd. Thank you all for staying here, since we had a full house. I never saw a full house. I got not much to report on tonight. Channel 23, the bane of our community existence, actually has been working pretty good lately, except after the rainstorm on Friday. And I, again, always thanking Gene Tallman, who was on top of reaching out to Spectrum. Turns out it wasn't our gear or the green box on Mountain Avenue, which is what usually is the problem. But Spectrum was having an issue, and a few communities and their local access channels weren't working, but they fixed it up. And on that note, Trustee Gargiulo, you said you have a lot of information. Type up an info sheet, bring it to either Gene or Lisa, and we can put it on Channel 23 if you like. You said you got a lot coming up, so why it's still working, utilize it,
I don't think a lot of people know that Channel 23 is still that viable. I think you look to the town Highlands News and you look at Facebook.
It's up, what? It's there if you want it. If you don't want to use it, it's still working. It's available to people that still have an old-fashioned cable box. People that have the Spectrum app and watch it digitally like I do, it's not available that way, or any other ways. But if you still have a cable box, Channel 23 is still part of the equation. The last thing is, I got a few reports about Peacedale Cemetery not looking good. I think that was over-exaggerated. I drove through there today. Actually, I think the cemeteries, I was up on 9W the other day as well. I think they're all looking pretty tidy. I would just encourage people that if you come in and do work on your personal plot or your family plot, just take your garbage out with you. I know there's talks about putting a garbage can in there, but that invites garbage, critters, etc. But it's something we can discuss. It's something we will bring up in discussion. But again, people that go in there, it's not that hard to, like the park system, carry in, carry out. And on that note too, like the New York City subways say, if you see something, say something. I found out some issues with Peacedale through the grapevine. Please, if you see an issue with the cemeteries or anything, you can come to town hall, you can email me about the cemeteries, or just leave notice and we'll address it. But I think things our mowing company looks like they're doing a pretty good job. I thought Peacedale looked particularly good today. If somebody's got a different opinion, let me know. That's all I got. Thank you.
Sir. Councilman King.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. Very brief for me tonight, just about 3 notes. The first one, I would caveat what my colleague, Councilwoman Nancy down there said, is the event that we put together for connectiveness, right? And it's multi-generational. And so therefore, that means we're trying to combat loneliness and things of that nature through bringing people together. Initially, the intent was seniors, all right, who can walk down the street and come into the library and do some coloring, but it turned into something different. We've had from 17-year-olds to college age to 90-year-olds all in one space, all echoing the comments from Councilwoman Spobert, is that they felt relaxed, they felt enjoyable after it was over with. So we provide lunch and we provide all the coloring supplies, and so a special thank you goes to my person over there and from the village board, Trustee Alina Olivia, who's been a great partner in this, as well as her husband, expert colorer back there. They've been there every Friday, and just a sense of community. So that's what's happening at the library from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and no agendas, just people who are trying to spread joy.
Are we going to put trustees coloring up on our refrigerator here in Town Hall or hanging on the wall? Or?
Well,
You could, I did pretty good.
you could talk to her offline about that. But the second note I have is Juneteenth celebration this year won't be as robust as we've normally done it over the last 10 years. And for no other reason other than we got a lot going on in the community that day. And so what we tried to do is manage the situation so that we can support everything that's happening. If you didn't know, we got Juneteenth normally at 11 a.m. Typically, we would do a parade down Main Street. We're going to forego doing the parade this year, but what the intention is to have the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club. I don't know if we ran the pass through the mayor yet, the permission slips and all those types of things, but if not, we'll get it. But the idea is to replicate what happened in 1866 in Galveston, Texas, when the cavalry came rolling in to free the slaves. And we're going to bring in the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club down Main Street with the Juneteenth flag. And then they stop at Memorial Park, and then we do the flag raising ceremony portion of what we would normally do. And then after that's over with, after about an hour, we're going to beat feet and go over to Roe Park, because what we have there is some mental health related activities and some fun family stuff with the children. That's all got vendors and all that. So by the time I figured out we had these different competing requirements, I was trying to wrap up my graduation at Columbia, and somehow I wasn't in the mix of all this coordinating. And so I said, listen, I'm not going to come here and screw that up. What we're going to do is just get Juneteenth over in about an hour, and then we go support what's happening in the community. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Mary Jane or somebody probably has a note for what's happening in the afternoon of June 21st, which is Saturday. June 21st is Saturday, so we'll do our Juneteenth in the morning at Memorial Park, 11 a.m. And then afterwards at 12, I believe there's something starting at Roe Park, and then again at 2 o'clock, there's something else happening at Roe Park, right? Hope Rocks.
And Family Fun Day.
And Family Fun Day. So
Isn't that Figgins Field though, rather than Roe Park?
Yeah, one at Figgins Field, one at Roe Park, so both will
okay.
be going
All right,
on at
good.
the same
Thank you.
time.
Yeah, so we're just gonna spread the wealth that day, and get it done and just celebrate our community. Third thing and final thing, also plan. See, normally what I would do in conjunction with Juneteenth weekend is do this thing called Veterans Resiliency Retreat. And that's where we've promoted across the country for veterans to come here in our little town and village and hamlet and come in and receive a therapeutic type of experience. We've done a meet and greet on Friday night normally. We've done an all-white party, meaning you dress in white, and that's kind of replicating a military ball kind of thing with not all the formalities. And there's really a therapeutic value to that. And then Sunday, we would conclude with a prayer breakfast and an equine learning experience. So we scrapped the white party this year. We really not going to do the meet and greet this year. I mean, it's just a lot going on. But what we're going to try to pull off is the equine learning experience over at Morgan's Farm. And that's where you use horses to help heal humans with trauma. And so if you're interested, more to follow, but the gist of it is 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Sunday, June 22nd, Morgan's Farm, tentatively, because I still got to go tomorrow and get it approved. But we're going to try to pull it off. Subject to anybody's questions. That's all I have, Supervisor.
Councilman Sullivan.
Want to take a recess, or everyone wants to stay?
Well, you're usually pretty short, so I'm not.
I'll try and keep it short. Last night, I watched a movie about a veteran trying to find his way back, and he had veterans partake in fly fishing. I can't remember the name of the movie. I think it's based on a true story. So your efforts are noted and very noble on all that stuff. And I went to the library to check out your book, Resilient Transition. It wasn't there. Just letting you know, I think they're going to replace it.
Well, they gave me the report, and I've done a duplicate copy.
Okay.
So I didn't know it was you, though, that came.
Okay, that was me. I wanted to take it out, and it wasn't there, so just wanted to let you know that. Right. On the water report, for the month of May, we averaged 73,134 gallons per day. The chlorine residuals at the test, one test is taken at Bosch's, the other one is taken down Chestnut Mart near the post office, wherever that building is. The test results are 0.65 milligrams per liter and 0.61 milligrams per liter, which is plenty of residual. In that case, milligrams per liter is the same as parts per million. The new water tank has an actual volume of 183,000 gallons. It's in service. We had a bit of a challenge getting an accurate as-built from the contractor and engineer. I want to thank Kelly and Bob for helping to force the issue. But we have a good fix on the hydraulics of it now, and in about a week when I get everything, I'll forward the process flow diagram to everybody. Anybody wants to go up and visit it, I'm taking some classes during the day, but I'm happy to meet anybody up there. The village is reflushing their hydrants again in June. The town just did it, and we will not be doing it again until October. I applaud that move. Bog Meadow's full, so I think it's a good move to do it. Bog Meadow is very full. I was out there the other day. And next meeting, I keep on saying I want to do these reports. Kelly was involved with me on a matter involving a disgruntled person in the water district. Next meeting, I would like to talk about our bond, about how it came to be, about how water points come to be, how they're evaluated, and I know there's been some discussion, like down on Mine Dock Road. It is my considered opinion that Mine Dock Road can probably get water in it at some point in the future if we're a little bit clever as a town board. So that's something that's on my mind, and I'd like people to know how that works. Towns are different than villages. Villages don't have districts. Everybody pays for everything, everybody gets everything. Towns have districts, and I'd like to talk about that at our next meeting. DPW, the Drew Road drainage is done, excepting a little cleanup, planting and paving. The person that was afflicted had major devastation from the outflow of Garrison's Pond. We fixed that as good as it can be fixed. He came here less than a year ago, and here it is fixed at this point in time. So I'm going to applaud the effort by the DPW and everybody else. They still have a little cleanup to do, but the piping is in, and if we have another 11 inches in 5 hours, whatever that was, no guarantees there, but everything we could possibly do was done down there. The cemeteries have been cut a couple of times. I didn't get a chance to find out just how many cuts we've had so far. And of course, everyone knows the rains have been unusually high. I know Joey touched upon the cemetery. There was a sit and chat the other night where the discussion came up over the condition of Peacedale. We have a $50,000 contract with a landscaper to come in and cut the cemeteries. They come in and they're careful, they weed whack and whatnot, but there's rules up there. You can't have flowers in the middle of it, so they can go ahead and not have to worry about that. If a cemetery requires more than that, Highlands Union, I think about 15 years ago, the town had a project to upright some stones down there when they first took them over. Some of these cemeteries are well over 100 years old, so I think a good effort is being forth. Is something above and beyond that is required. Maybe the cemetery committee. Joey, do they still meet, the cemetery committee? Okay.
They're reconvening soon.
Okay. That's something they could bring up and discuss, and you could bring that to us, you know, so. Tiffany sent me some reports for the comparison of amounts of municipal solid waste over the last 3 years for comparison. Understandably, 2023 was up about 15% because of the flood and the cleanup. The next meeting, I'm going to have a little report on that. Our production of municipal solid waste is pretty good compared to years past. And our recyclables, I think recyclables make up about 8% by weight, and the remainder is the municipal solid waste. We're trying to get the recyclables up to 20% if we can. They're a little bit cheaper to get rid of, and we get in trouble with where we're taking it if the recyclables are too mixed in with the MSW. on the matter of sanitation in the Village of Highland Falls, and I know I'm on DPW, I spent time with the sanitation workers, with the truck, with them picking up and looking at the logistics of the problems north of Mountain Avenue. I brought the observations to the attention of the mayor, Alina. We had a nice meeting down here with the building department. We had 4 properties we talked about, some of which are pretty badly afflicted, and a bunch of other things. So those are all good works in progress, and I think I brought out some of the things that the village might want to do with their code as time goes on. That's for your thoughts out there. We do the enforcing, and we're happy to enforce whatever you tell us to enforce. Sewer. On the sewer plant, we had a lot of maintenance going on down there. We had to replace an aeration blower motor, as well as the blower itself, the aerator. That was about $10,000. We had to replace a plant water distribution tank, which is only 5 years old. That was about $7,000. A little bit disappointed in that. And Tam was also brought in to do some pump station maintenance. And the plant itself is operating like a fine-tooth watch. I know there's a lot of people that go down to Mine Dock Park. I gotta tell you, I don't think there's an odor problem down there. They've gotten that pretty well beat, you know. That's because of the adjustments that our operators made. We've given them resources to do so. And, you know, the new dog pound is down there now, so I think it's in pretty good shape, except for the fencing around it, which is a FEMA issue that we're working on, you know. I signed the DMR tonight. The operator signs it and I co-sign it before it goes into the DEC. For May 2025, there were 9.2 inches of rain and we average 104,000 gallons per day of flow, which is 83% capacity. Somewhere, Bob, I saw an email, you might have shared it with me, about the DEC making their annual visit. I don't know if it's that guy Fung anymore, I think it's somebody else. I got lost, that was about a month ago. I haven't responded to it. Jimmy, I think, did. I'm not sure when they're, I don't know if you sent it, or if it was sent directly to me. Jimmy was copied on it, so I'll let you know when they're coming. That's usually a day of strife when they come, but we get through it. With the Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee, we strive to have a lot of things, not just Earth Day, and I usually help to sponsor a couple of hikes every year. We tried our best to have a hike on May 31st. It poured out that day through the Popolopan Gorge, which has a lot of history in it. I showed up and I went all by myself because I don't mind hiking in the rain, and I made a little 14-minute video that I put on Facebook for people to see. It's an interesting spot. Maybe we'll try again. It's very hard to put it in the paper and then 2 weeks later have it happen. You just don't know what the weather's going to be. So, the sit-and chats. Last month, Joey DeWitt was kind enough to film the presentation on Marty Moore. There was a 1-hour YouTube video associated with that, which is on the Town of Highlands Facebook history site. And last Wednesday was the June presentation of Sit and Chat, given by our very astute historian, Ronnie Coffey. Her presentation included some history related to Tracy Morgan, John Brooks, who fought in the Battle of Fort Montgomery, is buried out on Mine Road, James I. O'Neill, 1911 graduate of Highland Falls, General Rowe, and the Parry history. General Rowe, something I didn't know, is his cavalry detachment had to go to the Battle of Little Bighorn and clean up after the massacre that General Custer was involved in. He never quite got over that. She has all kinds of interesting tidbits. That also is recorded, and it's a 1-hour YouTube video on the Town of Highlands history site as well. They're taking a break until September, and for the sit and chats, I'd like to thank John Flynn of the American Legion Hall, Ann Molina of the Center, Agnes Safori of the Center, and of course Ronnie Coffey for everything that they do for that organization. The Patriot Garden. I would like to again thank Vision, Beautification, the Garden Club. I don't know who all's involved in down there. I can tell you that the guru down there has been Doris Lentz since we built it. I think it's 19 years ago now. And we were down there planting a few flowers, and she had some people come and help out. Anybody that can lend a hand to organizations like that, she'll send out emails to a lot of people. It's tough to get people. They're all getting a little bit older now, so my applause to Doris for spearheading that effort. And down at the Patriot Guard when I was there, I don't know if I brought this up to you, Bob, we have a well down there that went bad about 3 or 4 years ago. It's 424 feet deep. It only draws a gallon a minute. Here it is right next to Garrison's Pond, and the thing stinks. The police station, I think it probably was barely enough for them to flush their toilet when they were using it, you know. So I think that pump may be burned out. I'm going to give you a follow-up on that as the week goes on, but that pump might be burned out. For the building department, I'm going to give the report for May. I think they gave it at the village meeting. Alina might have done that. There were 10 permit applications were received, 11 permits were issued, 8 certificates of compliance, 24 building permit inspections, 16 fire safety inspections, 18 violation notices were issued, 3 violations were closed out. So that means there's still 15 of them out there along with the ones that already existed, not closed out. There were 5 municipal searches were completed, 1 zoning variance application received, and 8 FOIL requests. And I'll finish up by saying, on tonight's agenda, you'll see that there are 2 items related to the building department. One is related to the code enforcement officer we hired back in March, and the other is related to a code enforcement officer that we will have starting with us in August. And we'll deal with that when we get to it, and that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Chief, you have anything?
The police department stats for the month of May, we responded to 674 calls for service. We handled 7 cases. We made 1 arrest. We conducted 118 vehicle stops. We issued 65 tickets and handled 6 motor vehicle accidents.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Justin, do you have anything?
Just that we discussed potentially terminating the American Tower lease. I know it didn't make the agenda, but I didn't know if you had it in your notes.
There's a tower called the Putnam Tower. I got a bill for it, which it's contract is what do you say, 15 years old, Kelly?
2009.
2009. So what we've been paying since 2009 in the neighborhood of $2,000 a month for that tower, for the use on that tower. Now, the reason I say in the neighborhood of, right now it's $19,005. It has been going up every year. So I did a little research and found out that, lo and behold, we don't need that tower. None of our agencies use it. 2 of them have got all their equipment unhooked from it, so we don't need the tower anymore. So I thought, great, $2,000 a month savings, that's nuts, that's great. So now Kelly pulls out the contract, and wow, it's not as easy as I thought. First of all, it automatically renewed every 5 years. It just renewed. So now, what do we do about it? We're supposed to notify, I think, 180 days prior to a renewal. Well, I didn't know it was being renewed. It was kind of news to me, and that's sad to say, but it's true. So now, the ugly picture is we might be paying for the next 5 years $2,000 a month for nothing. So I asked Justin to look into it, and I want him to write a termination letter to the American Tower Company and tell them that we don't use your tower anymore, we don't need it anymore, and we want to cancel our contract. That is with the permission of the town board. And I dare anybody to say no.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did send out an email just saying, make sure, because I've asked for years for the police or someone to sit down with a cute little diorama with little cell towers and little people with radios and explain to me how all this works, because I still don't get it. And we had the 911 people here about 2 years ago. They gave a pretty good explanation. Dennis Casey, is that the former director, and a few other people came. They gave a pretty good explanation. If we don't use it, then I'm in full agreement.
Good, okay. So Justin, I don't need a motion or nothing, or do I?
Motion's appropriate since we're terminating legal agreement.
I'll make or ask for a motion to have.
Second.
Motion for what?
To have Justin write a letter and cancel our contract with the tower people.
So the letter's going forward to say we want to cancel.
Correct.
All right. So this thing that you just interjected about seeing the dots.
I think he checked on it,
Okay.
and so I'm going to support his move.
All right.
I did check on all the agencies that have used it, and no one is using it.
Okay. Somebody second it?
Yes.
I do.
All right. So,
All in favor?
aye.
It's so carried, thank you. One other caveat is, I looked through the contract, and the contract is, where the heck is it? It's all very, very fine print. There's about 20 pages of this stuff here. This is the contract we got. It was signed by Randy Bailey and Inga Quaintance. That's how old it is. I tried to get a hold of Randy today. I'll try again tomorrow. In the contract, it says that if we stop using the service, we have to get our equipment out. So, Christ, I don't even know where it is. I don't know if anybody else knows where. Actually, there's an address here where it is, so we can find it and send somebody up there to take whatever we have out. So anyway, we'll see what happens with your letter, and we'll go from there. Let's see, Mrs. Scott gave me this letter here that was stuffed into her door, and it's got, Mrs. Scott, please give to town supervisor. Well, this is an anonymous letter, and so whoever wrote it, I got your letter. Direct Energy. I got maybe 4 different letters. I guess this one says it better. Notice of termination of the electricity supply agreement effective June 9th, 2025. The agreement was dated on November the 20th, 2024. And for the purpose of this letter is to serve as the requisite notice to the town of Highlands that Direct Energy Services LLC is exercising its right to immediately terminate the ESA between the parties pursuant to Section 2.4, which states competitive supplier may immediately terminate his agreement upon written notice. So I got this by certified mail, and so that apparently says that we are all done with.
The CCA, yep, the state did not approve their plan or their contract, and with that, the program has disappeared. What's that?
Goes like from 17 cents per kilowatt to like 9 cents.
Well, that's if you sign up for it. Now that it's gone, let's see if O&R jacks up their rates again. We'll see. I hope they don't.
The other thing, I don't know if the chief has gotten calls or complaints, but are these young men going around and...
They're from a company that's affiliated with Central Hudson, but they're not following the town code, so their investigation's ongoing.
That's different from the CCA program. Yeah, they're not affiliated with the CCA. They don't do a door-to-door thing.
Well, that's what they claim.
Okay, I'll turn the floor over to Richie about our present town employee and the future town employee in the building department.
Because everybody has rights, I'm not going to go too far into it. Our current part-time code enforcement officer, he's not a building inspector, he's a code enforcement officer, I don't want to get too involved, he's been truant. And from my perspective, I have a seat to fill. It is an enormously difficult task to find building inspectors. So we went through the trouble to find, Moses is his name, it's who we'll be acting upon. And being that we didn't know what was going on, we have another one that I'm hoping that we hire that'll be starting in mid-August. In the meantime, I'm looking for, as we had before, a private sector consultant to offer somebody, and then we have Philip full-time. We have 2 full-time people down there, and I've been here long enough to tell you that Gabby being full-time is pivotal. She's good. Everything goes to her. The phone's being answered, the zoning board, the planning board, they're all getting their stuff just the way they're supposed to. If the village has anything they want digitized, she has the capability to digitize plans. So I believe in keeping those 2 full-time, and the other inspector should be a part-time, which is hard to find. So I am going to suggest that we terminate Moses Pavin tonight. That's I'll make that motion.
Is that a motion? Fine. Do we have a second? On the motion, Moses is still, what's called, a temporary employee under probation. So that's what we should do. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Now, there's this gentleman by the name of Kenneth Betson. Would you like to?
I sent everybody his resume. When we did the code enforcement search, we used Indeed. If it's less than 20 hours a week, you can have it be non-competitive, and you're not handcuffed to the county civil service. Kelly can correct me. If it's between 21 and 29 hours, it's still part-time with limited benefits, but it becomes competitive off their list, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So that's why we chose that route. Out of 46 people, I had a couple of beauticians. I had a lot of people to put in for that job. We only had 3 that were qualified. 1 kind of fibbed about being a professional engineer. So our second person that we didn't hire, Kenneth Betts, was very qualified. And he, thank you, Kelly, is available to come to us in mid-August. And that's the best I can do right now, because you're not going to find anybody full-time if we chose to go that route in that amount of time. And like I said before, I don't think we need 3 full-time people in that office. And I'm still working on looking for a private sector consultant. So I will make the motion. If everybody saw his resume, he interviewed well, I'd make the motion to hire Kenneth Betts. He's going to be starting in mid-August. I think that's where we're at, right, Kelly?
That's correct.
Yeah, I guess we could make that motion that we intend to hire Kenneth Betts, because until the county clears and what have you.
When I spoke to him, he asked me, after tonight's meeting, I'll send him all the paperwork by email, and he'll get it back to us so we can get him pre-approved, so he's ready to go.
So all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, we have a second?
We didn't have a second. I'll second it.
I'll make the motion. Joey second.
Got a motion, Richie, and Joe seconded. Okay. I have a letter here from Jeff Gathers, Captain of the Ambulance Corps. We have interviewed the new EMT, John Jack Shoemaker, and we are asking the town board to please hire him at the next board meeting. This hire would help relieve tremendous weight of pressure off the Corps, and we hope that we can get 2 more EMTs off the civil service list in the coming weeks. So I'll ask for a motion to hire an EMT by the name of John Jack Shoemaker as a part-time EMT for the Ambulance Corps, all the appropriate probation and at the salary schedule.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Okay. I have a letter from Mike Pitt from the Town of Highlands Police Department. Please accept this letter as my official resignation from the Town of Highlands Police Department effective this date. It has been an absolute honor to work alongside the men and women of the police department these past few years. I am extremely grateful for the opportunity that you gave me when you hired me. Please pass on my gratitude to the town board for their belief in me and my abilities to serve the town throughout my time employed there. I have a motion to accept the resignation.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, thank you. I think that's all I have. I have a letter, and I had a meeting with Mrs. Olivia, excuse me. I have a letter from her, and I had a meeting with her this afternoon. I would like to discuss her situation in an executive session. So, is there any public, before we do that, is there any public comment at all?
Supervisor Lizzie, I'd just like to clarify the record. Before I said Central Hudson, it's actually Orange and Rockland who they're through, and the company is called Solar Power Technologies, based out of Massachusetts.
I have somebody
You have a
else's
different one?
name.
So we'll look
I
up.
have somebody else's name.
So may I ask, excuse me, so I'm assuming that if they're going to do something like that, that they would need to come for a peddler's permit?
Correct.
Is that
If they
Okay.
haven't, that's why there's an investigation that's
Thank you.
underway.
I'd just like to make note, if no one else has to say anything, I'm glad we have so many representatives from the village here and from the county here. Look forward to your fishing contest. I don't fish, Jimmy, but I just might come spectate, you never know. And thank you all for coming. We could have had a joint meeting if we wanted to. Everybody has a quorum, so.
Yeah.
Are we still in public comment?
Anybody have anything before we close the meeting?
I just real quick, I just want to, and I'm talking from a social standpoint, when building inspectors and code officers, what kind of input, like we even talk about the Chamber of Commerce, what kind of input do businesses have in what the parameters are on these hirings and these affirmative actions of hiring these people? Again, I'm not looking for an answer now.
Let me answer that real quick. On my agenda, it says we're going to do something like that, and you would have had an opportunity tonight to address it.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, good. Thank you. Number two, and I don't know if this is more to Richie, I know there's a fine gray line here, and again, this is just kind of social scuttlebutt. Where's the oversight and insight on the draining of a Crystal Lake? Because there's a lot of talk about that. So if there's something, that the board, or even the village or the town board can present on that. Again, the community wants to know.
So I'm going, not to lie to you, probably about 6 months ago, I became aware of it by someone who I'm not going to name right now.
That's fine.
And I shared that information with the town board.
Okay.
I don't know if you all got the email or not. I took a drone picture, I usually do and whatnot. I shared that information with the town board. That person didn't come forward to publicize it, so I just kept it right where it belonged till now.
Okay.
To whatever, so, I haven't seen the plan or anything, but I am aware of it.
Okay, nice, because it is out there, and again, just, making the public aware of all these different things. Thank you, I appreciate you.
Mayor?
Jim DeSalvo, Mayor Highland Falls. A couple quick things, and Councilman Sullivan's comment about water districts and sewer districts. I remember my first time on the town board, and B. Dyroff had come in because they just created a new district up by her house. I think it was sewer. And it was one of my first votes because of the way the town sewer districts are, that you can be in the district but never get the service. So it was one of my first votes, I remember that. And she came in and she was dressed well and, very studious, and scared me a little bit. Not that she was a scary person, but it was my first year on the town board, so I can appreciate that. Just to echo what Trustee Ramus said in regards to our fishing derby this Saturday, we're hoping that the weather stays pretty well, but if it is raining, we'll be under the pavilion. Refreshments provided. Please come. If you don't have a fishing pole, we'll figure it out for you. We are going to be doing hydrant flushing starting on the 16th. The theory of that is because last year we were kind of in a drought situation and we kind of did not do it. And I think some of the settlement and sediment in some of the aging sections of the village, needed to be flushed. So we're doing it now back to back. And this time we flush them, they will be flushed thoroughly. So we're going to take the week to do it. It will probably probably drain the system as much as we can because we have an abundance of water, as you can hear outside there now. So we're going to take advantage of that. And as Councilman Sullivan said, we're not even pulling water out of our reservoir right now. We're pulling out of the 2 or 3 little ponds that feed into it. So thankfully, that's good. In addition to that, I appreciate 62 days in office. Some of the trustees as well, the new members on the board. I appreciate the reach out from the supervisor. We've had a couple meetings already, also Councilman Sullivan. Definitely, mostly, it's been discussed about the building department and code enforcement. And as this board knows and the supervisor knows, it's code enforcement's probably our biggest issue that we have. And I'm making an announcement tonight for the folks who own roosters and chickens in the village of Highland Falls. You are not allowed to without special dispensation and confirmation from the village board. At some point, I'm going to hire a company to just go get the chickens, because we can't deal with them anymore. The folks who have roosters, there's 2 of them. We're figuring out what the best way to deal with them is, but it's just, I even had thought about having a friend of mine bring his falcon here and do some falconry. I'm at that point right now, and I'm making the announcement now on public. I'm going to reiterate it on the 16th. It's enough already. And not answering the door and just skirting the issue, at this point, I don't care. If my board's okay with it, we're going to send somebody on your property, take the chickens and rooster, and we're going to hold them captive until you contact us. So I want you all to know that. That's going to be happening very soon. I'm sure my lawyer will be shaking their head when I say that on Monday. But again, at this point, I'm at the end of my rope, and I'm not dealing with this for 4 years. So if it's close to the holiday dinner thing, we may even come up with a solution that way too. So anyway, I want to thank you folks, and if you ever need anything, please, my door is always open. So thank you.
Chickens cannot go in our new dog pound.
No. If it was up to me, we're just going to deal with it.
Anyway, I'm living in a new dog pound. The thing's really nice.
Following up with Jimmy, I'd like to thank him. When Philip was out for the month and a half or whatever, I was sort of enslaved down there for about 40 to 50 hours a week. Gave me the opportunity to review the code up close. There's a lot in there. And in the village code, there's one provision on animals. And in that code, the only animal mentioned there is a canine, a little bit on feline. And you have the one clause that says if it's an animal other than that, it's at the pleasure of the village board to condone or condemn it. The town code is a little bit different, just like everything else, you know. But so you read them and you're like, wow, we don't have a daycare permission thing in our code and other things. I know that's all being addressed, and I look forward to that being addressed. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. The building department we're treading water, but we're okay.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a trash situation.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We can either stay here or go downstairs, whatever.
Stay here.
Stay here, that's what I say.